All right, welcome to part 2 of our generator that has now since turned into a little table. And I say our generator because you guys have been watching the crap out of TikTok and helped me purchase something like this. So I'm super grateful for that. I really appreciate all the viewership and comments and all that stuff. I read all the comments, positive or negative. It doesn't bother me. Yeah, so I got some parts for this. I got new door locks, a new key switch, new battery. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move it outside and we're going to troubleshoot the engine. In the last video, you saw there was a bunch of smoke getting blown out of the exhaust. I think one cylinder isn't firing, so I want to look into that a little bit more. So yeah, without further ado, let me go get the skid steer. All right, so this is a test to see if the microphone noise canceling is okay with the engine running, because that would be sick. So our first task we're going to deal with are these locks. We got 4 of them here. There's one on the switch panel, and I think that's going to be a little iffy, so we'll save that one for last. All we got to do is undo this nut, undo this screw, pull out that cylinder, and put the new one in. See? Locked, unlocked. Reveals our little control board. All right, so you can see it's just, we got the 2 terminals here. So if we unscrew this, just take these off. Well, first I want to see if this new one fits. Should? Question mark? Fortunately, it's pretty loose still. That'll work. All right, new battery. I think that's good. All right, so before we get underway with starting it, let's just verify our control panel is working. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Let's see what our battery's sitting at. Yep, there we go. 12.4. So, cool. So before we get started, like I said, what we're going to be doing is I have my thermal camera here. We're going to watch the exhaust manifold. on every cylinder. I think it's this one here where it's saying YD2. I think that one's the one not firing. And yeah, just want to verify that before we dig into it further. And as I'm looking around, it looks like you can't really take the top off, or you might be able to, I just haven't seen it yet. But in any case, yeah, we're going to start it up, let it run, see how it sounds, and then just watch that temp rise. All right, moment of truth. Will a brand new battery make it start? And contact. So you can see cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, it's looking a little light. Cylinder 4 is looking hot. So unfortunately, yeah, all that smoke, it's coming out because of that cylinder. Next thing I'm thinking, what would be easiest? Ay. You know, I'm thinking it could be like a stuck valve or something like that. I should be able to get like a pry bar on the crankshaft. Honestly, I'm thinking taking the exhaust manifold off, since all those bolts look pretty accessible. You can see the top of cylinder 3, I'm just going to call it 1, 2, 3. Cylinder 3, a little wet on the manifold. But yeah, I think that'll be the easiest. Take the turbo off. Just take everything off as once. Oil feed, oil drain. Yep. I took the valve cover off. I rotated the crankshaft. I was able to see cylinder number 3 moving on both sides. I was able to take my borescope and I got it inside the intake here. And I went down into cylinder 3. I was able to see the valve. It was essentially bubbling. So it's leading me to believe that there's compression gases escaping through the intake valve. In the current process, what I'm doing is trying to remove the exhaust manifold, the turbo, just get that out of the way. And I'm going to send the borescope to look at the exhaust valve that's right in there. That'll give me a better idea of what's going on. And then, you know, at this point, I'm probably going to need to pull the head and look at the cylinder wall and whatnot. But, you know, right now it just seems like it's the intake valve not sealing all the way. I'm working on these last 2 exhaust bolts going to the muffler. Yeah, and I feel like the guy was actually in here to diagnose everything, because a lot of these things were kind of finger tight. Which, like, yeah, whatever. You know, no blame to the guy. I would look at it too before I, you know, sold something that cheap. At this point, I probably showed you both the intake and the exhaust and what it's doing with the bubbling. So my theory is the intake is either gummed up or something. That valve is just leaking, you know, combustion gases out of it. So the next thing I gotta do is go one step further, and that's take the head off. I took the risk, spent the money, and I guess we'll proceed on. And at any point, if you guys know what's going on with this thing, leave that comment down below. I really would like some input, as I'm not a diesel mechanic, I'm just an engineer, so I can have some sort of understanding as to what's going on, but in reality, I have no idea what's going on. I hope you guys can somewhat see what I'm doing, but we have the intake right here, injectors, fuel lines. Nice. Intake out of the way. Grab some fuel line and put on this little nipple here. It seems a little oily. But it smells like cool. I got the radiator thing off in the front. Now I got to take the valve body. I don't know what it's called. The thing that holds all the valves. I got 8 bolts to take off. I was gonna at least try to find my valve lashing tools to be able to understand what the valve lash is set to, intake versus exhaust. So when I put it back together, I don't completely screw it up. So I'm thinking it's gonna be like 8 or 9. So here's 9 thousandths. Yeah, that seems pretty good. And 8's a little too much. I'm gonna call it 9 on both. It's not too bad. I got the rocker arm assembly out, push rods out and labeled. A little note for myself. Here it is. It's out. It's out. Nice. Yeah, so I see a lot of carbon buildup on what we're calling cylinder 3. It's really probably cylinder 2 if the front of the engine's over here. But I'm going to keep calling it cylinder 3 because that's how I wrote all my numbers down. So here's our culprit here. And if we look at the cylinders, here's the one that's in question. Doesn't look terrible. Still has cross hatching. I don't see a melted piston or anything like that. Doesn't look bad. So I saw on YouTube you could just use a socket over here, give it a couple hard taps, and the keepers will kind of pop up. So that's what I'm going to do to remove the 2 valves in question. Hey, there we go. There's 2. Now it's really just going to be getting them back in. That's going to be the fun part. Just a very gentle tap. Oh, look at that. That's our issue right there. She is stuck. So that one's good. That's what it should do. But this one, on the other hand, no bueno. Wow, that is crusty. Yeah, look at that. Look at all that carbon buildup. There's your problem. Look at that. Like, the sealing surface looks okay. It's just, it's like very sticky, gummy stuff. So I don't really know how to get that stuff off. It kind of just peels off. Now it's under my fingernail for the next 50 years. But yeah, I just need to figure that out, and then I can slap this bad Larry back together. All right, so I'm going to start with a pick. Try to get all this stuff off. You can kind of see it's coming off relatively easy. Just gonna be careful around the mating surfaces here. Still have to lap the valves. I went through, I cleaned the valves as best as I really could with what I have. I don't really know too much how to clean them, but you know, I got the big chunks off. It seems like it's sealing okay. So I think we're in good shape. We're in better shape than it originally was. If I have to take it apart again, I will be sure to do that. Not pressed for time so much as I just want to learn. I want to learn trial by error. And if I have to take this engine apart multiple times, I'm fine with that. So if you guys have any suggestions about, you know, cleaning valves, cleaning valve seats, lapping compound, stuff like that, definitely leave your knowledge down in the comments because, like I said, this is my first bigger engine that I'm, quote, repairing. So I'm just really sending it, and, you know, if I need to learn more, I can. So this is going to be the hard part, getting the valves back on, but we'll try our best. So I was pushing with all my might originally, and everything was just so caked up, I couldn't even get this spring to go down. But now if you look at it, you know, I just got to keep this spring up, but should be able to get it to go. Come on, get in there. No way, I got it. Too easy. All right, can't get cocky. Can't get cocky. Gotta keep your head on a swivel with these things. Oh, got it. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude. You know, it's so much heavier than I thought. Hunched over. It's cold out. And I'm loving it. Oh, yeah. Should be close. There. There it is. There it is. All right, that's what we like to see. Now don't come for me in the comments. I'm only using this because I'm lazy. I'll be 100% honest. I got rid of my torque wrench because I was like, I'm never going to need that. Here I am, needing it. Call that good. What comes next? I don't remember. Put them on a little loose because we still got to bleed. This assembly. I forgot about it. Well, apparently it's so cold that the propane doesn't want propane, so. But here I am, barehanding it. And the propane's a little finicky today. So I have this little guy. We could just turn it down to a small little flame. Let's warm it up. Warm it up a little bit. Oh yeah, I forgot I gotta hold that. Come on, get on there. So we are back and ready to go. Just gotta make sure these are a little loose. I'm gonna prime using my little pump over here. Hear the air coming out. Yep, I see some fuel. I smell the fuel. All right, battery's on. You guys watch for parts flying out that way. I'll watch for parts flying out this way. Key on. Systems are go and contact. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to start up and run it some more, see if we get any heat into that third one. It could just smoke. It sounds like it's hitting a little weird, but got a misfire, but we'll see. Contact. Here is what I have for a load to put on this machine. So I've yet to determine if this thing has been running on 2 or 3 cylinders, because when I just took the temp gun, the thermal imaging camera, to the manifold, it was showing that number 1 and number 3 were sitting at 80 degrees, where the other 2 were sitting at 145, at least right off the bat. So here I have at least 6 kilowatts as a load. It's not going to be much for this thing because it's a 16 kilowatt Jenny, but it's something. I'm thinking maybe if I can get a load put on here, it gets loaded down, it might break things free. Who knows? Worst case, I think what I got to do is make a couple connectors for my house and just turn everything on in the house, plus all 4 of these space heaters. Really load it down. But anyway, let's see what we can do here. I'm going to turn all these off except for one. And we're going to start it up. Add it one by one. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to hear me. I'll turn noise canceling on. Yeah, we'll let it rip and see what happens. What happened? Oil pressure low. Well, that's not good. Oil pressure low, huh? Looks like it's shooting out of this, like, breather or whatever that is. Not sure. So I'm going to set you up right here. And you're going to look right there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that could be. I assume it's some sort of breather. Well, you know, I think that's where we're going to end it for this video. We're going to shut the doors. Let it be for now. Come back next time when it's cool. Yeah, it could be, I did drain a little bit of the coolant, but I don't think it overheated. Unfortunately, I didn't spin the engine over when I had the head off. So maybe, you know, I'd say that maybe the connecting rod is bad, but there's no hole in the block. You don't hear this like knocking thing smashing into the block. So I'm going to rule that out as that's not it, but so it looks like we got 3 issues to diagnose now. 1, it's blowing out oil, whatever breather vent that is. Cylinder 3, I'm going to call it cylinder 3 because that's just what I'm doing. Cylinder 3, looking at the thermal camera, it's not coming up to temp. Possible valves, possibly I didn't do anything with the valve when I was actually in there. So let me know what you guys think. I'm very curious. I really want to work on this thing as a project. It seems fun. I like diesel stuff. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, drop them down in those comments. I'm eager to hear them. Yeah, but anyway, we'll see you in the next one.